Not very long ago, right? I was feeling so unclear, so incapable, so stuck. And I felt like I had so many potential paths that I could choose. And I was feeling stuck in life. Like, I had so many ideas, so many possible venues, right? Um, Ideas about creating concept restaurants and that incorporated farming on a small scale at first and then making it bigger, looking at Ghana or other places in the world where I could do that from. I had different ideas about places and even what to do with the space itself, making it like an experiential place, a place for learning, connecting more with nature through food. And who knows, maybe that will still happen, you know? But I had a whole like lots of notebooks filled with different ideas and things that I could possibly do, but not feeling connected with how to get there. Not feeling like there was this blank space, and I'm like, I just need some kind of miracle to help me get to a position where I'm able to create whatever it is I wanted to create. And I really wanted YouTube to be a place where I could make enough money to start investing in different creations. And when that felt like it wasn't going to happen, I got so frustrated, I remember, and I felt so lost. And like, maybe I had to choose to go back into the system and the way the world was, and maybe I had to get an education and get some kind of job, and then I'd like move a little bit in that direction, search for different schools and things, and then because of how my last year in high school went in IB, I felt so unmotivated and so just like I didn't have much faith in the educational system. I felt kind of betrayed by the system as well. So I wasn't putting much effort in, I wasn't going much to school, and it resulted in me not getting the diploma, only the certificate. So when I was applying for higher education, I didn't have enough points to get in, right? I had two points too little. And it was like salt in the wounds of how frustrated and annoyed I already was with the system, and just like, yeah, I don't want to be in this anyways. You know, that defensiveness came up, um, and so I would try to find different ways to make money that were fast and something that I could do on my own, where I didn't wasn't going to depend on the system. And again, I had many different ideas, many things that I kind of halfway started, but then at some point never finished and never actually started making money with or through. And then fast forward to now being in Italy working as an au pair to make a little bit of money. I feel like what inspired me to really make the move to come here was feeling uncomfortable at home, and also just feeling, I think, so ready to change, like being at home, and I was starting to feel like I was in this spiral, and um, I felt like I needed a change, and I really wanted to travel. And the opportunity of being an au pair presented itself. I actually did apply for other jobs in Norway first without getting anything. And then when I signed up for the au pair site, within like a day, I got so many applications, like 7 different families talking with me. And I was like, okay, this feels like the right way to go. And since being here, I've felt a mixture of things. There's been times when I've been here and I felt like I could stay here for another year or longer. I could stay here for a long time, where I felt so welcomed by the family and so at home and so in the right place. Like there's been different cues, reflections in the reality or in the environment that just has showed up from what I've written down earlier of things I want, or created a PowerPoint presentation for myself kind of as a vision board of things I want for myself, like fruit plants and vegetable plants, and there's a whole vegetable garden and fruit trees all over the place. And to this morning I had homemade jam on my banana bread. You know what I'm saying? It's like those are the things, parts of the things that I've wanted, and the family eating all organic and being mostly vegan. At least the mom is completely vegan and mostly. And but then there's been times when I wanted to leave. Like if I could press a button and leave that instance, I would have. Times when I felt not so welcome, and when I felt kind of like captive and incapable of making the moves that I wanted to do in the moment. And I can be quite impulsive. and and those times when it's been so low and I felt so alone and unsafe to share how I'm feeling, and then that made me feel even more alone. And then but then it gets better, you know? And I try my best to not suppress how I'm feeling, or to like try and make myself feel good. I try my best to allow myself to feel whatever I'm feeling, and I have a couple people and beautiful people in my life that I'm able to share with and say I'm not feeling so good right now, and this is what I'm experiencing, and I'm so grateful that to be in this place where I recognize that I need people in my life that I can share those things with, and that it's okay to not be okay all the time. It's okay not to be okay. And yeah, I kind of came on here today because I wanted to talk about kind of how I went from being unclear to clear. So what I also learned, which was from Teal Swan, was that if you try to get clear on the right direction by just thinking about it, you're going to keep thinking until you can't think no more. You know what I'm saying? And that's literally how I felt. Like I felt so stuck in my mind. And like every time I tried to go somewhere, I would want to make it perfect before, even in the process of making it, before getting to the final project, rather than trying something, going all the way through, having the final project, and then saying, okay, how can I improve this now? It's like I want every step of the way to be perfect. This perfectionistic, suffocating energy that is just too much. Okay. And it's so good to become aware of that, because sometimes we can be so deep into something. I think in too deep, don't wanna. And so it's good to become aware and then take a step back through the awareness and see yourself and see, okay, we can be less hard on ourselves, less harsh, less critical. And and then what Teal was also recommending is taking a step, moving, experiencing through action, and then by doing so, learning whether this is the direction you want to go or not. And when you do learn that, if like for me being here, I see, okay, I'm an au pair right now, and I'm going to be staying here till August, and then I'm ready for something else. So it's okay to be here right now, and I'm grateful, and I'm learning, and it's a beautiful healing and growth environment, although at times it's uncomfortable, but that's part of the growth. Still doesn't make it less uncomfortable, it just makes it more bearable, I would say. Inspires resilience. And now I know, like, okay, I can cross that this path out of my situation, and know that, okay, moving forward, now these are the other options. I already have another option that I'm going to be sharing probably when I'm there. And I'm excited, nervous, but I think it'll be good. And I'm glad. Like, even coming here, I knew I wasn't going to be making that much money, but it was better than where I was. And the next step, I'm prioritizing money more because I know where I want to go again after that again. So I have a couple of things envisioned, and it's the direction I'm moving. And it feels so good to have that clarity. And I feel like a big part of that clarity has also come from my years of self-assessment, self-awareness, practicing self-awareness. And I think the most efficient way is to look within. But for people who are like into astrology and maybe human design or the Mayan calendar or whatever other tool that you're using for self-exploration, that is outside of conventional things, I think it's really good because it expands your awareness to be more open to see yourself in different ways and see the world and existence in a different way as well. And I feel like if you can get yourself to the point where you start focusing more inwards directly, like if you're in an experience and you notice some uncomfortability, then you like take some time to look, to like pay attention to that uncomfortability and ask yourself, what's making me feel uncomfortable right now? And then maybe there's a new person that walked into the room and you felt like they looked at you in a certain way, and you might think, oh, but I shouldn't think anything of it. That's like the mind trying to reason the situation out of what you're feeling. But the mind and the feelings are two different aspects of our beings. And so if we're able to kind of tell our mind that right now we don't need to be reasonable or rational, we need to be emotional, because there's something that our emotions is trying to tell us. Because I think we have this relationship with emotions that they're against us. And because they're such a huge part of our being, if we're perceiving them as being against us, then we're essentially fighting ourselves, you know? And that creates so much tension and pain and suffering. And I even think that that has affected my reproductive system and my physical development. And so being more open to allow yourself to feel, especially as, I was going to say a woman, but as people, I think it's a really powerful step towards living your best life. And also, like, even when you feel so low and you're able to sit through it and be with it as much as you can, eventually that first breath of lightness comes back in and it feels so good. Like, it feels so good. It's completely worth it. At the time of the lowness, I'm like, okay, this is horrible. Can we just quit it right now? But then once I get that first breath after the darkness and the lowness, I'm like, that was completely worth it. I love it. I'm grateful for it, you know? So, yeah, that's been my journey so far. I also remember when I first came here, scusa, how when I was feeling like, I feel like it was the first week or second week, I felt really like I was sitting on the floor crying, and I was so like ready to leave. And I remember, I don't think I've shared this on my channel, but I started stretching. And as I was stretching, I moved my head over my right leg. I feel like I've shared this somewhere, maybe on TikTok. I moved my head over my right leg and my arms and stretched over it, and in gratitude and trust of where I'm going from here, right? Because I was feeling in such a bad place. I was like, okay, I just need to remember that and trust that it's leading me to where I want to be, to a good place, to a place that where I feel good, feel better than what I do right now, which can be escapism, right? And then I moved over my left leg, stretched over my left leg, and I got this internal image, vision of myself as a kid biking up this like hill when I was around 8 years old, maybe 7, 8 years old. And my mom and I had just moved into a crisis center after we had moved out from her living with her boyfriend at the time. And the crisis center was on the top of a hill. So I would bike up this hill to get to the top. And in the beginning, I couldn't bike the entire hill. But what I remembered was my resilience and my determination to get up the hill and my motivation to do it. And where I was before I came here was at a point where I would have just gotten off the bike and walked up that thing. Like, I don't have the energy, the desire to even try and test myself or challenge myself. You know, that was how I was feeling. So when I got that image, I felt so much appreciation and admiration for my younger self and how driven she was. And so as I was stretching over my left leg, I just felt this gratitude for her and like expressed that and kind of welcomed her strength into my being right now through just the awareness of that has been me, and that young girl is still a part of me. Like, she's still within, she's grown up, but she's still here. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, okay, yeah, I can do this. Maybe I can start challenging myself a little bit more again and feel that, because there's like a sense of reward, satisfaction that you feel when you completed something or completed a challenge and you faced it and you were able to win it, for lack of a better word. So, and then finally I centered myself in the middle and raised my hands up and in gratitude of being here right now. And I feel like that was a powerful moment too, and I don't think I would have gotten there if I hadn't come here, you know? And I'm learning to follow my heart. Again, to be open to how I'm feeling and to not try and reason or rationalize my way out of it, which is easier some days than others. But it's a nice practice. And yeah, it feels good. So I felt like sharing just a little bit on this channel. I hope you're feeling well, as good as you can be. I hope you're feeling connected with yourself and with other beautiful beings. I hope you're feeling supported and hopeful for all the beautiful things that are awaiting you and all the beautiful aspects that are within you. And yeah, that's what I got for today. Lovely face. See you when I see you.